And now back to the Gunsmith Show with John and Jake Smith.
All right, we are back in Gunsmith Show time. Jake,
that's right.
Let her rip.
All right, today we're talking about obscure and odd cartridges, calibers, and rifles, and handguns, and shotguns, and more that you may have heard of, but you've never seen, or you
might trigger some responses like, I read about that in 72.
Right. You might have heard of it, but had no idea what it actually is.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here today. Our main topic of discussion is going to be really some of these odd ones that you've just never known about.
All right.
So the first one we have here is the 5mm Remington Magnum rimfire.
Very interesting gun.
Yes. Now, this was introduced in 1970, and it only commercially lasted for Remington for about 5 years. And it really resembled a neck-down .22 Magnum.
Yes, slightly neck down, yep.
But it had different specs. It wasn't exactly that. There were some differences to it. But that's what it looked like.
Yeah, kind of almost looks like what they've done with the 17s, only it was in a 5mm, which is basically 20 caliber.
Exactly. Now, there's only 2 rifles that Remington had it made in.
Right.
And they were both more of a .22 style rifle. The first was a Model 591, which was a magazine-fed bolt-action rifle.
Right.
And then the 592, which was a tubular magazine bolt-action rifle. So there was no clip sticking out of the bottom of the gun.
Right.
This was a tube down the bottom of the barrel. Now, they were both in the 5mm. But actually, I read that Thompson Center created the Contender in this for a little while, too.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty interesting round. You used to be able to get the shells at, like, the hardware stores and stuff when I was a kid.
Right.
And
in the 70s.
But you rarely saw the guns.
It would go over 2,000 feet per second for a rimfire.
It was a very powerful little gun.
Yeah, and this was before the times of the 17 HMRs.
Yes.
Before really,
The 22, when we were young, everybody hunted with 22 shorts and 22 longs. Then we switched over to 22 long rifles. And with a 22 Magnum, well, this was another gap bridger.
Right.
Kind of like the 41 Magnum. That 5mm
Bridge gapper? Or gap bridger?
Either way.
Okay.
6 in one, half dozen in the other. But as I look at it today, it would have been an interesting round to get. It's just hard to find the rounds for. But they are still out there.
And I
you see them for sale on vintage ammo and stuff.
I think that with what we've done today with the 17s and all of that,
yes,
I think it really could have made a great comeback.
Probably could have, but
But it was, why bring out something old when I can come out with something new?
Yeah. Well,
so,
hey, as it is, rimfires are hard to make anyway. They're expensive to manufacture, so it's once they're spent, that brass is gone and hopefully scrapped. But other than that, heck of a handgun round, or I'm sorry, a small game hunting round. No,
yeah,
very powerful.
Now, how about a rocket pistol?
Well, why not?
They're not just for James Bond anymore. The GyroJet allowed a rocket in every hand in the 1960s.
Isn't that crazy?
The GyroJet family was created by the MBA Corporation.
MBA.
It was initials for everybody's names.
Really?
Yep. Now, it fired literally small rockets that they were called microjets. They increased in velocity as they traveled out the barrel. So once they left the barrel, it kind of kicked in and then it shot out faster.
If you've ever seen a GyroJet pistol, they are pretty neat looking.
They had multiple different calibers for the rockets.
Okay.
I had read even they had produced some that were larger and were almost a 40 caliber rocket.
Really?
Now, they even had ones called literally the dart gun.
Yes.
Specifically for the CIA.
Yeah. To shoot poisonous darts or
poisonous
knockout darts.
Yeah. Now, the original GyroJet fired a 51 caliber armor-piercing rocket.
Why not?
All right, 51 caliber armor-piercing rocket. Now, they even started to turn the entire group. They created a family for them. They had a full-size rifle, a carbine, all different handguns, and then they actually developed a squad gun for the military, a machine gun that fired rockets. Could you imagine that?
It almost sounds just like science fiction.
Well, they really look science fiction-y. Our picture was on the website this past week of the GyroJets. But really what happened was they realized they're not accurate. Then they attempted to put fins on every rocket to stabilize them, and then that kind of backfired on them, and then they became too expensive to produce. And then a little thing called the Gun Control Act of 1968 kicked in, and this rocket was considered a destructive device because it was a rocket, an exploding rocket that fired from your handgun, and it really made owning one very difficult.
Well, don't think it was like a Stinger shoulder fire rocket.
No,
this is
a very tiny.
It's not a big gun. Interesting.
They're about the size. They were about the size of a 1911. The handguns were.
Looked like something from Star Trek.
And they were very. They had the holes. They were just very futuristic looking.
Yep.
So they GyroJet. You've probably never heard. You might have heard of them, but you never knew what they were. Well, they actually fired little rocket projectiles.
So very interesting story.
Now they actually created one also that was called the Lance Jet, and it was made to be an underwater fired rocket pistol. But they realized it only went about 6 or 7 feet.
I wonder if our old producer knows this.
Yeah. All right. So that was the GyroJet. Hopefully now you can say, hey, have you ever heard of a GyroJet?
Well,
your friends.
Now you have.
Now you know.
The rest of the story. There you go.
How about...
Here's a good one.
Yeah, you'll like this one.
A little gun Ruger came out with back in the day called the XGI. Well, this wasn't for ex-servicemen, but it might have been.
All right.
Tell them about it, Jake.
This was a larger Mini 14 intended to fire the 308 and the 243 cartridges.
That's right. It was a good try.
It was a try. I've seen one in the museum, and that's it. But they were cataloged. That's the cool thing. They were cataloged.
Yes, there was writings about these in the 70s. We were excited about it early 80s. We were excited about it. It was going to come, and it was going to be the next big thing.
Right. Now, really, this is something interesting. The Mini 14 was intended to be a miniature version of the M14.
Right.
But they actually use a completely different operating system, which I thought was pretty unique.
Yes.
The Mini 14s use a Garand-style system.
Yes.
Where the M14s use a gas-operated system.
So the Mini 14...
It's more like, it should be called like the Mini G. And the XGI was a bigger version that would have fired the 308 and the 243. So they faded away really into the Ruger vault with, I'm sure, other guns that have come out over the years from Ruger as well.
Well, it was nice. They did writings on it. They actually had some ads for it, building up popularity.
Yes.
But when it didn't happen, we were all just kind of stumped. And then they came out with the Mini 30. And we said, wait a minute. This is not what they said they were going to come out with. But they did come out with the Mini 30. And, well, yeah, it was 30 caliber, but it shot that Russian ammo. You know, that's the way we looked at it back then. Now, some of your, especially Vietnam vets that had a lot of respect for that caliber, you know, it really caught on. Plus, the availability of that ammo made it very easy. And at the time, 308s, I mean, you were only buying, you know, Federal and Remington and Winchester as far as 308s at the time. Now, you know, there's a plethora of 308 ammo out there. There was, and you can get it, you know, in military contract form.
Right.
So much easier now to get 308 ammo at a very decent price. Back then, it was, you know, a box of 20 is what you were going to buy back then.
Yeah.
You know?
Now here's our last rifle of the day. This is the Commando Mark 45 by Volunteer Enterprises. Pretty
cool gun. Looks like a Tommy gun.
It does.
You know?
I put a picture on our Facebook page.
Yeah. Last night.
2 days ago.
Oh, was it 2 days ago?
2 days ago. Picture of the Commando Mark 45, one of the original ads for it. Really interesting gun. It made the Tommy gun available to the masses.
And it was a very affordable. When these things came out, I mean, Tommy guns were $700, $800, $900. And this one came out, it was like $3.99, you know, back in the day. It was like, it's affordable.
And they fired Tommy gun mags.
Yeah, they used Thompson magazines. They were somewhat crude, but still pretty neat. I mean, we had one. We had a lot of fun with it, and it fired, it shot. It was, you know, it's a .45 rifle. So it's basically for plinking and fun, and I'm sure you could small game hunt with it, but it had a 20-round stick magazine. But it was certainly a fun gun to shoot, a conversation piece. If you've got one, you're probably proud you got it, and you keep it in the safe, and you're like,
if it still works.
It probably does. I'm sure you could wear one of these guns out, but they're made right in Tennessee, and sturdy guns. They're still out there. You still see them at gun shows. You see them in gun shops. Every now and then they pop up, and you know, it's kind of like a Coleco. Every now and then you see a Coleco.
Right.
Every now and then you see a volunteer arms gun.
Yep.
You know, the Commando Mark 45. Just a little, not nearly as refined as a Thompson.
No.
It's not machined in the same way. This is
just a cast receiver.
Yeah, very interesting gun, how it works. But, you know, for 45s, it still had a nice barrel on it. Had good grips, had good walnut. So, pretty cool gun. It's a good conversation piece, if nothing else.
Yep.
But these are just a few of the obscure guns we're talking about today. And, you know, we just kind of get a kick out of it. So,
that's right.
You want to take us away?
Well, during this commercial break, log on to Facebook, like our page, The Gunsmith Show.
There you go.
That we can kind of see some of these guns we're talking about, some of the calibers and the cartridges. And it's just a great way, and like our page, and we're always giving stuff away.
There you go.
So,
well, we are the Gunsmiths. I'm John.
And I'm Jake.
We'll be right back, so hang on tight. You know, this is John Smith from I Can Build That. Every building has a roof, and peace of mind comes from having a good roof. That's why the I Can Build That team trusts DuraGuard Roofing for all their commercial roofing needs. So if your business needs a new roof, call DuraGuard Roofing at 691-9243. That's 691-9243. Free estimates, free inspections. That's DuraGuard Roofing. We trust them. You can too. DuraGuard Roofing, 810-691-9243.
If you want your home to feel sound when you are not around, call Pal Alarm. To protect your safekeepings and stop anyone from peeking, call Pal Alarm. When the house gets locked down so you can get out of town, call Pal Alarm. Give Pal Alarm a call today at 810-908-8298. That's 810-908-8298 or palalarm.com.
Attorney Timothy J. Cassidy is the pro-gun attorney that we here at the Gunsmith Show use.
With more than 20 years of experience as a prosecuting attorney, law professor, and holding a past seat on the Genesee County Gun Board,
Tim Cassidy is your pro-gun attorney.
Contact Attorney Cassidy today at 810-569-5441 or email him at attorneycassidy@gmail.com.
And now back to the Gunsmith Show with John and Jake Smith.
If you'd like to talk to John or Jake, call now, 810-743-8255.
All right, we are back. And sorry, I'm a little short-winded today. I've got a little problem going on, but Jake's doing most of the talking.
You got more than a little problem.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
All right. Well, guys, folks, we're talking today about obscure, obsolete, and basically guns and cartridges that are long gone.
I thought you were going to start talking about me there for a minute.
Yeah,
obscure and obsolete.
Things you just throw away and buy a new one.
Yeah, there you go.
I can always. We can find another co-host. That's not a problem.
You go.
Now, so this is the Gunsmith Show, and that's what we're talking about today.
Now, I got back in one of our very first shows. This is show 98, right?
Yes.
So we've done almost 100 shows now, and about probably 96 shows ago, somebody called and wanted to kind of stump me, and they asked about a pinfire.
Right.
And oh yeah, we've heard of pinfires, but these were. If you've never heard of a pinfire, it's kind of an interesting talk. A Tell them a little bit about it, Jake.
Well, the pinfire. It resembles a standard cartridge, but with a smokestack sticking out the side of it.
Right.
What it is, let's take a 45 Colt cartridge. You got your brass with a bullet on the end of it. Well,
Yep.
at the back side, there would be a short little rod that sticks out, and essentially,
It's like a primer tube.
it's a primer tube.
Yep.
So you'd put your cartridge in the gun with that sticking out the top.
Yep.
You'd light that, and then the bullet would shoot out the barrel. So it'd be like almost a miniature cannon inside your barrel.
Similar.
So before there was a primer, it filled up with powder, and then you touched off the powder, and it shot the bullet out the gun.
Very interesting.
So that was a pinfire. Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely obscure, obsolete.
Yes. Collector's item.
Until primers become outlawed, I think this will be obsolete. So
Yeah, let's hope we never have to put wicks in our barrels again to make these things fire.
I got to drill through my lever action. Why? I got to put a wick into the
But
barrel.
the president made it illegal.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, there's a lot of weird stuff that came out in the 60s and 70s, too.
And Winchester had their name on most of it.
You're right. They were they were innovative, trying to get that next big thing. But think about it. 243, 308. There's so many good guns out there with the name Winchester attached to it. 270.
Yeah.
So many. 30-30s.
And here's a couple of them. How about the 375 Winchester?
The big bore.
That's
what they called it.
Yeah.
The big bore.
And it was introduced in 1978 for the Winchester Big Bore Model 94 rifle.
Beautiful guns. Absolutely beautiful. I have a lot of friends that had them and still love them to this day and desperately try to find ammunition for them.
Really, all the round was a modernized 3855 Winchester.
They
took a black powder round, modernized it, and came out and called it the 375 Winchester.
Yep, the big bore. It was a good-looking gun. And, the advertising slogans and everything for it were top-notch. You can still go online and find, like, the little posters that they had for those guns. And very, very interesting. But so the 375 Winchester, if you've got one, hang on to that sucker. Hope you still got the original box and paperwork.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Now, how about the 356 and the 307 Winchester?
Those are both pretty interesting, too.
They were
And
kind
again,
of brother, sister guns.
Guns designed to make your lever-action hunting gun more powerful.
Right.
Guns designed, trying to stick with that basic gun, but design it around a more potent cartridge.
Yes. So they were both designed for the Model 94 big bore rifles in Winchester, so your lever actions. The 356 Winchester was really a 308 with a ring, with a
rim.
A rim, thank you. They had a 308 with a rim, and they necked it up to 356 caliber.
Okay.
And then the 307 was really to compete with the 300 Savage, which at this time was in the 80s. The 300 Savage was kind of on its way out.
But the 307, what it did was, because they gave it that nomenclature, I know your cousin Bill has one, and it was a very powerful round.
Yes. Well, the 300 Savage was a very powerful round, too.
It was certainly the next step up from a 30-30.
Yes.
A lot more power.
Yes.
So basically matching a 308 in a lever action.
So you have the 307 Winchester and the 356 Winchester. Two cartridges that you would have a very hard time finding any ammo for them on the shelf today.
Right. And remember, these are tube-fed lever-action guns, so they're going to have
round or flat nose bullets.
Round or flat nose bullets. That's right.
How about the 300 H&H Magnum?
How about the 300 H&H Magnum?
Really one of the first powerful smokeless cartridges, but with the new 300s, and quite honestly, the 30-06 puts it on the back burner.
There's still a powerful round. It still does what it needs to do, and you can load the heck out of them in standard, good, sturdy guns.
But you can find a 300 Winchester Magnum that outperforms it.
That's true. That's true. But it's certainly a gentleman's gun.
It is.
Beautiful, beautiful rifle. To have a pre-64 Model 70 and 300 H&H, wow. That's just beauty. So...
And, we talked about, let's not forget Savage, though.
No, Savage was way ahead of their time, I think, with their guns. They had high-performance rounds when people weren't even thinking about it.
The Model 99 lever-action rifle, let's face it, is gone. It's an obsolete, a lever action with an internal magazine that held ammo.
A rotary magazine, ahead of its time again.
Yes.
Nice, strong guns. They even came in takedown. You know, so you can twist them apart, put them in a smaller box.
And they came in a lot of calibers, but really Savage's proprietary ones were the 250 and the 300 Savage.
That's right. Very powerful rounds.
They are very powerful, but but they've been there's so many rounds today that are readily available and are more powerful.
Right. You can there's plenty of folks that reload the old 300 Savages and 250 Savages, and they were smart in the fact. There for a while, 10 years ago, everybody was going to the short magnums.
Yes.
That's almost what they look like.
Right.
Because they had a large cylinder to hold a lot of powder.
Large case.
Yeah, large case capacity. But these guns date all the way back 100 years ago.
Right.
And they are, there's always worries of some of the metals and stuff, but let's face it, Savage guns are tough, man. They have got massive, strong barrels on them. They are good guns. So not a lot to worry about as far as I'm concerned. But if you've got a Model 99 in one of those obscure calibers, boy, I'd use it. I'd proudly use it.
But it really is. It's a technology that's long past, I believe.
Well, lever guns are lever guns. You still love your Marlins.
But
there's people out there that still love the Savage.
This is different. I mean, this is a modern take on your lever action.
Yes, and they are comfortable rifles. They're beautiful rifles. They're strong. They got longer barrels. They don't have that tube underneath them, so they're more sporty looking.
Yes. Yep.
And those calibers, those 250s and 300 Savages, boy, they've taken a lot of deer, boy. I tell you, they have.
Well, honestly, they outdid themselves, Savage did, when they chambered the same rifle in 308.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. My dad had a 300 Savage and deer hunted with it for years and took several deer with it, and then it was stolen, and he replaced it with a 308 Savage.
Yep.
And he was happy. Nice gun. It wasn't never his 300 Savage. He always looked for that 300 Savage till the day he died. He kept the serial number in his pocket looking for his stolen gun. Never did find it. But interesting. Very interesting.
In the cartridge we talked about
a few weeks ago. Yeah.
The 224 Weatherby Magnum is also an obsolete.
Yes.
Reloading special only.
Yep. It was, basically outsmoked by the 22-250.
Right.
Which, let's see, whose name's on the 22-250?
I don't know.
Is it a Remington or is it a Winchester?
I'm not sure. I don't remember that part.
Seems to me it's a Remington.
Well, if there's a cartridge you think we've missed.
Oh, I'm sure we have. Like something like the 256 Winchester.
284 Winchester.
Yeah.
So there's going to be cartridges we missed. But if there's one that's your favorite that you think we've missed, let us know. Send us an email this week at shooter@thegss.com. Also, you can get on our Facebook page, The Gunsmith Show. Let us know on there. Say, hey, you forgot blank.
What about the 257 Roberts?
Yeah,
still
stuff like that.
Widely sought after around there, too.
So let us know what we've missed this week, and we'll be sure to get back and give you some feedback.
There you go.
Go to our website, thegss.com. Listen to our past shows. You can listen to our past conversation from last week with Tim Legender. Learn a little more about the 450 Bushmaster than you thought you'd ever know.
That's right.
And keep in touch with us. We do it for the listeners.
Yes, this show is for you. And we appreciate your listenership. We're glad you're here with us every Saturday. Set your clock. Next Saturday morning will be same time, same place, 8 o'clock every Saturday morning right here on WFNT and WLCO and on the World Wide Web.
Next week, we're talking about what to do and how to join a shooting league.
It's a great way to get the summer started.
Yep.
Let's talk about summer because it's too doggone cold. All right, folks, we really appreciate you listening this week. And remember to shoot straight, shoot off, and get out to Williams and tell them the Gunsmith Show sent you. And you need an attorney, get a hold of Tim Cassidy. And you need a good roof, get a hold of Durgard Roofing. Those are our sponsors. Thank you very much. And Pal Alarm to protect your home.
That's right.
All right, we got to go. Have a great day, folks. And get ready because Mike Gaylord's coming right up.